And we will turn on the camera, and we are now live. There we are. That's you and that's me. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Kuali Days here in Anaheim. Excited to finally kick this thing off. With me here today is CEO of Kuali, Joel Dehlin. Joel, welcome.
Thanks. Excited to be here, and I'm so glad that we have matching shirts.
Yeah, look at that. We didn't even plan it.
No,
it's
no,
like
not at all.
happenstance. So we wish you all could be here. We're 4 hours into Kuali Days so far, and already it's been I think one of our best ever.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
The energy's, it's so much fun.
So we have a ton of stuff going on right now, and I wanted to kick off with you because it just seems like it's been one announcement after the other coming from Kuali. And as a marketing guy, I love it. Keeps me busy, and gives me a lot of good information that I can get out to the market out there and our customers. So I thought we would maybe just briefly kind of review just over the last couple of weeks. I know we had grant risk, which was, you want to speak on that just real briefly?
Yeah, grant risk is a tool that we created that's for free, available to the market. It was in response to when the administration started targeting specific grants, and people didn't really understand why the grants were being targeted. And it turns out because they had words in them like gender, like climate, like vaccine, things like that. And so we wanted to give people a heads up. So we provided a way that they could upload their grants into our tool, and we would give them a score based on AI. So that if they had words like gender or like climate or like vaccine, it would give them a score so they knew how at risk they were. And those words we actually got from several so it don't have to be you go
examine their grants. Some of our universities have hundreds of grants. All right, so that's grant risk. That's a free tool for the research community. Shortly after grant risk, we announced the official launch of Kuali Academic Ops. Can you talk a little bit about the Academic Ops?
Academic operations is academic ops is a suite of tools. We used to call this suite student, and it was a little bit confusing because people confused it for a student information system. And our intent is not to replace people's student information system. It's to augment their student information system. So academic ops allows them to do that with a curriculum management tool, with a catalog tool. We have do you want me to talk about new announcements?
That's coming up.
Okay. I don't want to steal any thunder.
Ops,
all right.
Yeah.
So within academic ops, there are new announcements that will be coming at some point in the future. But yeah, so that's academic ops. These are all tools or products that augment your current student information system, including Build. So our no code forms and workflow tool Build is part of our academic ops suite, just like it's part of our research administration suite.
Right. Yeah. And we have a lot of current customers on the webinar today. So they're all curious to learn about the direction of academic ops and all that it has to offer. For those who are new to Kuali, the one thing I always like to mention is this is not a new thing for us. Kuali's been a leader in both research and academic ops for 10 years. Yeah. So it's an area we know well. So included in the academic ops announcement was a new partnership. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we had planned part of that suite. It makes sense for somebody who provides curriculum management and catalog to also provide scheduling. And scheduling is talking about scheduling resources like rooms, but it's also talking about scheduling courses. And while you can do that in your student information system, they're not always great at doing it. So having another tool to do that really makes sense. And we've always planned to build one ourselves, but we found that a lot of our customers want it now. So rather than building a new scheduling tool, we decided to partner with Ad Astra, whom we see as the leader in scheduling software, both for analytics, for room scheduling, and for course scheduling. So we have a partnership. So it's gone great so far. There are a lot of customers that are interested in. We've created integrations between our tools so that curriculum pulls scheduling data, and their scheduling data pulls information from curriculum and from our Kuali Build tool.
Yeah, so I mean, that'll be important for the schedulers to always be working with the latest and greatest information from the curriculum side of the house, because it's not usually the same person that does both. So yeah, we're really excited for that partnership with Ad Astra, to deliver, really the best possible solution to our customers. All right, so on the heels of the big, and that all aligned with the ACRO conference, we had Academic Ops, we had the partnership announcement with Ad Astra. And then really today, we made some exciting announcements this morning in your keynote address, starting with, I think the big news for everybody was some of the things that we've got cooking with AI now.
Yeah, so we really gave a sneak peek to our customers about all the AI things that we've been doing. So a couple of years ago, we decided that we were going to unify and update and modernize all of our products. So they were already multi-tenant SaaS solutions, but we wanted to take a step further so that whenever we create a feature for catalog, you can use it in curriculum management. And when we create one for curriculum management, you can use it in build and so forth. So we undertook this effort to modernize all of them onto one platform. And that we were in the middle of doing that when AI became huge. So we just took a step back and we really deeply embedded AI into our entire product suite. So if you think of the places that you'd want to use AI, it's to make things faster, it's to make things better quality, it's to help with compliance, things like that. Better, faster, and compliance. But also you want to be able to use AI in your workflow process. So from the propose, approve, get insights, and then the ability to create forms and workflows, all four of those places we've embedded AI deeply throughout our entire product suite.
Yeah, and I know our friends from UC San Diego were particularly excited about this, as are our friends at Fresno State with their Bulldog Genie AI tool that are down there. And that was my takeaway from the announcement this morning was we're not forcing you to use AI a certain way inside the Kuali platform products. Across all our products now, you can choose your own AI solution, right? And then you can choose exactly where you want that AI integration to go across your various apps.
That's right. So we wanted to make it completely configurable so you can have zero AI used in your tool, or you can maximize AI. And then you can use our AI key, our AI engine, or you can use your own. So if you've got a Claude key or your Anthropic key or your OpenAI key, whatever, you can just plug that in and all of it will work.
Yeah, pretty easy to set up too. And then finally, the last thing, we had a new product announcement this morning. So we're adding a whole new product to the Kuali suite. I think we're going to track down Tadd so we can get into some of the specific use cases, but can you tell us about this big announcement?
Well, am I allowed to talk about the ones that are the two?
You are. So this is a special audience, right?
Okay.
And I promised them that they would get a sneak peek of the up and coming announcements.
There are two things two additional products that we announced for the academic operations suite. One is called Student Forms. So the Student Forms product is a product where you aggregate all of the forms that your students have to fill out regularly, and it pre-populates most of the information based on who the student is. So when the student logs in, it knows their GPA, it knows their program, it knows their whatever. And so these are forms like grade appeal, like program change request, like apply for apply for a study abroad. There are forms like this. So it's about a dozen forms.
Like we hear almost all of our customers have these same kind of universal needs across the board. And so why recreate something 1,000 times if
a student has to fill it in, you just put it in this product. And so that's the idea. And we'll be doing best practice sharing among our customers who have various student forms that the others don't have. We'll be able to share more of that information.
Now that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. And that really kind of opens things up now because we have a lot of really creative customers that, just listening to some of the sessions, some of the presentations today have done some pretty remarkable things. Okay. So that's a couple new products for the academic operations.
That's one. Well, the other one is Bridge.
Right.
Dude, were we talking about Bridge as part of this?
Yeah. So
okay.
You can let them know about Bridge.
So Bridge is our new integration tool. So think of you want the ability to bridge together your products. Bridge together your build apps that you create. So builders are no code forms and workflow tool. It creates something called apps. You want those apps to be able to share data with each other and share data with the products. And that's the tool Bridge. Bridge is a graphical tool that allows you to integrate systems with each other and transform the data. So you could fill out a form, and then it could pull some data from here, and it should put some data back here, and it could add a little bit of text, and it could make it all capital letters, and then it could return it to the form. That configuration of all of those nodes where the data goes back and forth is what we use Bridge for.
Yeah, and a lot of our customers will purchase specific middleware to do things like this. But one of the things that, and you're going to hear a lot more about this in the coming weeks when we have our actual formal announcement. But the thing that really stood out for me was the experience of being able to connect two different data points between systems, like physically connect with a string and then define how you want to transfer that data. So as a non-technical user, looking at it, I immediately understood kind of how to use the system. And so I don't know, I feel like a lot of our admins out there, tech admins, are going to have a lot of fun putting that.
It's really cool because programming, if you think about what programming is a bunch of inputs and outputs. So now we have a graphical way to do the inputs and outputs, and it won't let you put an output to another input that doesn't match. So a lot of the programming errors that you would get in code, you just don't get because you're stringing together graphical objects. It's really fun.
Okay. And I'm going to spring one on you. We didn't prepare for this ahead of time, but I'm just wondering, the last minute that I have you for, looking at the year ahead. And so Kuali Days 2026, have our keynote presentation. Thematically, what do you see as kind of the big overarching ideas for not just Kuali, but maybe for software in higher education in general? Like, what are some of the big shifts that you might be observing?
Well, AI is one. I think that there's a period of transition that higher ed is going through that is unprecedented. From the grant process to the student admissions process, enrollment, it's all changing. And in the past, universities sometimes have been unwilling to make the changes in the universities that they needed to change to become more efficient. And we're finding that universities and colleges are more willing to do that now. So you take our administrative software and our data, you add AI to that and our ease of use and put it toward a problem of trying to make real change. There's so much change that's going to happen in the next couple of years that's supported by software. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah. Change is hard, right? Yeah, especially in institutions that have long traditions. So I'm excited for the prospect of AI being able to help me navigate the change. It's not just about productivity or replacing someone's job. My experience has been the ability to kind of open up and do more things better or differently than I was doing before. It's become a vital assistant for training.
100%.
Okay, well, Joel, that was a lot. We covered a lot of ground very quickly.
Is somebody going to talk about the research announcements?
Well, we've got Dr. Gaede here, but okay. Yeah, you should probably touch on those. Touch on the research announcements.
So we have
super high levels.
Okay.
We have a lot more coming.
So the biggest one I'll talk about right now is internal opportunities. So we have a new product that allows you to set up internal grants. So if somebody you want to propose a grant and you want people within the institution to apply for that grant or a project, you can do that. So you can set it up, you can get approval for it, and then you can have a searchable database where people can go search for the grants, find it, and then apply for it.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like something that a lot of our customers would be glad that we're delivering. Well, Joel, thank you.
You bet.
Great to catch up with you, and we'll talk more later. All right. So next up, I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to rope in my good friend Dani over here briefly, and then we've got Don on deck. And then here comes Tadd as well. Dani.
Yeah. Hey.
I just wanted to introduce everybody. Dani is one of our account executives here at Kuali, and she is in charge of sales and consultation for probably what, 1/3 of the United States.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Canada and and other parts of the world. We're growing quick.
Okay, so I'll make this brief because I just wanted to put a face to a name. This is Dani, the person behind sales for a lot of our states. So Dani, when you think about the year ahead and all the announcements that Kuali's made, what are you hearing from people that you speak with? in higher education. Now I know that's complicated because we have a bunch of different products that we sell in higher education. So this is a complicated question.
Hmm.
But what are some of the big overarching things that you find customers are looking for in 2025 from higher education software companies?
Oh, the first thing that jumps to mind is just the ability to be flexible and kind of tailor-made approaches in the sense of we offer modular software and modular products, and for to that end, institutions can choose what makes the most sense for them.
Yeah.
So it's not Kuali saying, and now you'll do it this way. It's absolutely the institution and Kuali partnering and figuring out what actually works for that institution, how it's going to work, what it looks like today, what it's going to look like tomorrow. So I think flexibility, and then also the ability to envision a current state and a future state and be able to work towards that future state
Yeah.
without having to go through a whole bunch of different processes or change things up dramatically. We can evolve together.
Yeah, that resonates with me. A lot of times when people hear customization, they think, oh man, I got to build this thing on my own, but
Mm,
we're kind of doing the best of both worlds here where like out of the box, like we start you
mm,
with everything that
yeah.
you need, but then, as conditions change, you can kind of
Yeah.
adapt.
I would say, yeah, configuration over customization, because it's, no longer are we saying, oh, it's custom code, it's anything, it's configuration. It's how do you need it to work?
Yeah.
So that's very fun. And it's an ever-changing conversation, I think, in this current landscape. And that's one of the best things that I love about Kuali is that we can have those evolving conversations without having to worry about all the things falling down all at once and all the fun things. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I
Yeah.
just wanted you to drop in real quick because we've got a lot of customers out there.
Yeah.
They're happy to see you.
I know Tad's on deck. I'm gonna, yeah, he's the reason you're here. Yeah.
And then we got Terry, and then we had Don, and then he ran off. Oh, there he is. He's on the phone. All right, Tad, come on over here and join me. We got some questions about Bridge. So Joel just shared with us a little bit about Bridge, really high level. Everybody, this is Tadd Giles, CTO here at Kuali, and the man behind our grant risk product. Worked with Steve Dowdy over at University of Maryland and put together what I think is turning out to be a really helpful tool to a lot of people. So it's neat to see how much that's being used. But I wanted to sort of pick your brain on Bridge a little bit because it is somewhat technical. This isn't something that all of our audience would use, but it would affect or impact all of them. So talk to me a little bit about, first of all, the inspiration for Bridge. Let's start there. What inspired the creation of Kuali Bridge?
Yeah. We built into the platform way early on, back in the early days of build 5 years ago. We built integrations. We knew integrating with other systems was going to be a critical part of how the products needed to work. And so we did it in a very general purpose way that could work with a variety of systems. And we have customers who have done a lot of interesting things with it, connecting it to student information systems, to user directories, to financial systems. They've done all kinds of different things with this functionality. Oftentimes to do that, they have had to use a thing called middleware, the software that sits between our system and the other system. And that can be custom code, or it can be another middleware piece of software that gets configured to do that. And a lot of our customers get stuck on that point. They either don't have programmers available, or they don't have that system available, and they want to do those integrations, but they're stuck. And so that's where Kuali Bridge comes in and says, let's give you a tool that knows how to talk to the platform, knows how to communicate well with it, but can do that extra piece so that you do less middleware and more just getting things done.
So I love that. I was really struck by, and I was telling Joel the same thing, the ease of use. Can you talk a little bit about your thought process behind the design, kind of how you set everything up?
Yeah. The basic design was stolen from the Unreal game engine.
Okay.
That they
All
used
right.
to configure things. And so the basic idea of putting these nodes that link together, that's where the inspiration came for that. But when the engineer who created it did it.
So we're talking about extract, transfer, and load. And so this doesn't just go into the Kuali platform products, but it can also be pulled from and sent into other systems. It goes both directions.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you can pull stuff in to put it into a form, or you can use our workflow engine to automate taking data and pushing it out.
Now, in my brain, first of all, the visual of dragging two connections together so that, first name goes to first name or student ID or what have you makes sense. But the middle part is particularly interesting. So talk to me a little bit about the transformation. When do we need to transform data?
Well, one example is when you want to fill out a drop down on a form, it needs to have an ID, which is the underlying unique ID. I'm getting technical here. And then a label, which is what shows up in the drop down, the text that shows up in the drop down. And so the platform, our platform expects this object, this thing with two properties, ID and label. And so data that's coming in doesn't always have that come in that format. It may call ID something else. It may not have anything called label. And so one of the things we can do, we have a thing called rename. One of the nodes, we have a bunch of different nodes that do different things. And you can insert a rename node in there, and it can take a property like that they have and rename it to something else. So you can take, if they have a title, we can rename it to label so that it can then talk to our system.
And so that middle box, so we're connecting a line from one system to the other, and there's a box that sits in the middle, and that's where you basically plug in all those rules for the transformation.
Yeah, and then you can do as many of those boxes as you need, and the boxes do different things.
And Joel didn't say this, but I think this is available soon. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Like
probably weeks away from general release.
Yeah, okay.
If you're interested, contact us.
Call us.
We have people starting to do evaluations, early
Awesome.
evaluations.
All right, now that Joel's gone, tell us what's next. I know
What's
you can't
next?
do that. What's coming? We've got a
I'll tell you
lot
what's
cooking
next.
right now. So
this summer, I'll tell you one thing. This summer, we are finally going to get after routing to external users. This has been a common request constantly from customers to be able to route to somebody who's not in your directory, doesn't have an authentication,
okay,
but you need them to be part of the approval process in a secure way.
Yeah.
And we're going to get after that problem finally.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get after it for years.
I think a lot of people would be really happy to hear that. Well, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to hold you to it, Tadd.
Okay. I gave myself a window there. Summer.
All right. Terry, I'm looking at you. Thank you, Tadd.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. Up next, our Vice President of Customer Success, the one, the only, none other than Terrence Durkin. Everybody.
Hey, Paul. How's
Terry.
it going?
So, as I've mentioned to a few of the others, we have a lot of current customers on the webinar today. So, they're always excited to see you and they wish they could be here. So I just wanted a way to try and capture Kuali Days and send it all out. So how do you think this year's shaping up?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really exciting. I'm real happy with the program. There's something for everyone. There's obviously a lot of focus on the next gen, the new platform versions of our products, but we're also talking to folks about the things that we're putting or doing with the classic versions of the products. And there's just a lot of excitement, a lot of people who are really starting to think about, oh, it's close, it's almost ready for me. So we're excited to be having a lot of those conversations as well.
I was struck by first of all, I'm learning just how much is involved with migrating for some of our customers. Like Roll Ready is one example. Some of our customers have hundreds of continuity.
They do.
plans.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you can't just flip the switch, there's a process there.
Exactly.
And the same is true for research.
It's true. Yeah.
And everything else as well. So it's fun to see the excitement.
Yeah.
Even in a lot of our classic sessions, I've been noticing a lot of what appear to be really creative ideas coming from our customers, because I'm seeing a lot of heads nod throughout the session.
Yeah. And we've also seen over the past several years, just more folks using the classic products, but also using Build and learning those tools and getting ready. So they're extending the capabilities, and it's really got them thinking about, how am I going to solve these problems in the future when my research or my academic operations software is now on the same platform. And the integration is just so much easier, and it all just works wonderfully together.
Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because a while back you shared in one of our company meetings kind of the updated KPIs or stats on how the CS team was doing.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, because I have worked with a number of different companies
Yeah.
in the past, and you know what I thought of as good numbers doesn't even come close to what you guys have been able to.
Yeah. Well,
So this is your chance to shine and kind of
Yeah,
brag a little bit about the team because
yeah, I love bragging. I love bragging on the team. So I have the privilege of working with both our support and our professional services teams. On the support side, we have over a 99% satisfaction rating. So on most of the tickets, when we close them, we ask, hey, are you satisfied with how with our response? And over 99% of the folks that respond say, yeah, I'm real happy with the service that we received. Our SLA is blown out of the water consistently. So I think our average.
what is our service level agreement?
Our SLA for urgent tickets. So urgent tickets mean the system is unusable or a major piece of the system isn't working. It very rarely happens that that's the case, but
Excuse me, Danny, don't let Mike go too far.
yeah,
He's next.
So we are committed to a 1 hour response time on those, and our average, and that's the highest level.
Right.
And then it kind of goes from there. Our average response time for any type of ticket is under 6 minutes. And for urgent tickets, when they do come in, is less than 3 minutes on first response. So
I'm just thinking about all the other, I just had to call my car insurance company the other day, and I didn't, needless to say, I wasn't waiting for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a little bit
a little
longer.
bit longer.
So, I mean, so let me ask you this. What makes that possible? Because it seems like a lot of companies struggle with this. So how do we get such a quick turnaround on these issues?
Well, that's a great question. For one thing, we just have a really fantastic team, and the team has been spending a lot of time over the past several years cross-training. And so we're trying to break down silos between team members who used to think about, oh, I support our academic operations customers, our research customers, our build customers. And so we're trying to break down those silos so anyone is capable of responding and handling issues, as well as just getting really, really good internally at knowing how to how to get the help that we need to when there is something going on.
That helps with load balance.
Yeah,
So if a bunch of issues all happen at the same time, we're not waiting for one person for research.
Right.
We've got more general people now. Do we have, now I'm really drilling in here. So you can go like this. I'm going too far, but our folks have are there different levels of knowledge? Is there any kind of taxonomy for like, this is a level 1 question?
That's a real good question. So the answer has traditionally and is currently yes. I mean, we have folks who are working to support our research customers who have worked in research offices, and we have folks who are supporting our academic operations customers who have been doing that sort of work for a very long time. So of course there's a lot of knowledge that comes with that. But we also have with the new platform, we're able to commoditize a lot of the common things. So users or form design or workflows or things like that. And so most of the questions we get don't necessarily require the years of experience in the research domain that some of our folks have, or in the academic operations domain, but they're there when we need them to be there to answer those really heady questions about regulations or anything like that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then we have the integration as well, which is visible to the whole company.
Yeah.
The marketing guy, I love watching those 10s come in. And so whenever you submit a 10, know that this guy sees it and makes a mental note. So that's, love to see that. Cool. Well, Terry, thanks for taking a couple of minutes to chat and say hi to everybody out there.
Hey, everyone.
We've got some friends on deck. I'm looking at Don over here from Sac State.
All right, see
cool. Thanks, Terry. See it. All right, so here comes Don, longtime friend.
I know. How you doing, my brother?
Welcome. Come on in here. All right.
We have to travel this far to see each other.
Yeah, I know.
And we only live 20 miles away from each
So
other.
I live near Sacramento, just north of Sacramento. Don's at Sacramento State. So yeah.
Well, I actually don't live there.
I thought you lived on
a
campus.
mile.
What kind of
1.3
community person would you be?
1.3 miles. That's how I'm dedicated. I'm 1.3 miles away from.
All right, as long as you're
So I have to
within
do the
1 minute
mileage
of
for it,
campus, right? So we were talking earlier. So the world of business continuity. So
Yeah.
we had an exciting event.
Yeah, we had a
happening
little roll
today.
going on today. Got a earthquake notification, and within
Did
a
you feel it?
second, oh yeah, as soon as I looked down, I'm like, earthquake notification, and I felt this little roll, and
Yeah.
it's just like afterwards, I'm like, okay, so does the hotel have a business continuity plan? Were we ready for ready? That's the question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I mean,
was ready. I was ready.
yeah. So we didn't have our plan out.
You got to have it. It's got to be accessible. It's
It's got to be
ready to
accessible.
go.
And the nice thing about Ready is you could access it online. If
So-
there's an incident.
So the Cal State system, a lot of people don't know this, but I think there's 23 campus locations. If I
We'll go with that. 23.
23.
It's
Okay.
true.
And
I'm number 20.
yeah,
don't know if
like
we're
I think we have about 20 of the different CSU locations using Ready right now, something on the order.
I was
But-
gonna, yeah,
But you were one of the early adopters of Ready.
2018 is when
Yeah.
we came in. So we were audited by the CSU Chancellor's office. And so that's how I got involved. I actually have been on the campus for 25 years. So I started off at the south end of the campus at this one office doing stuff for about 10 years.
Mhm,
Then I moved to the middle of the campus and doing some stuff there.
mhm,
Then I moved to the front of the campus
Yeah.
and I became part of risk management. And then in 2018, they created my position. And that was a lot of it had to do with our audit.
Yeah.
So we had to put together a new continuity plan because the one that we had was horrible. And so then
So you're not alone in this. I will say one of the things that I've observed traveling around the country and talking to people is there is, particularly since COVID, right? So it's been a number of years now, but continued push to having continuity plans. And it seems like you can have a continuity plan for anything.
right. Yeah. Any business, any small organization, I have a nonprofit and I should have a continuity plan in case something does happen to
Right.
me, someone can continue. My daughter has her own accounting business in Washington.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get her to put together a continuity plan and know the reason why. It's not, I mean, yes, you know everything. And I think the problem with the resistance is we already have a manual or everyone here knows what to do. But what if you win the lottery and you just say, hasta la
See ya.
vista, and then who else takes care of
Yeah.
it? And we've run into that a lot with our trying to put our continuity plans together. I just felt like it was shaking again.
Could be after dark time.
Could be. I just felt like a little roll. But we have people say, well, I already know what to do. On this day, I need to do this 2 weeks out of the way.
Yeah.
I go, is that written anywhere? Well, no. That should be written somewhere.
Yeah.
'Cause again, what if you win the lottery or you're in Hawaii? And we've had issues where people were in the mid-flight and there was an incident that happened and there was nowhere, no one knew what to do.
Yeah, it's
So-
the funny thing because it's like most of the time you're never really going to use it or even think
Right.
about it, right? But 5, 8 years go by and then boom, all of a sudden something happens and
Yeah, an
that's when you
earthquake.
need it. Yeah.
A train derailment, like we're in the middle. So our issue is we have a river on one side. That's on the east side. On the west side, we have a elevated train track. And then on the south side of our campus, we have an elevated freeway.
Highway 5.
And
right?
50.
50, well,
Yeah.
55. 50.
No, 50 and
5 is a little farther up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
but then
99.
50. I
comes
drive
through.
by you all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you never stop to say hi. I'll buy you a coffee. Anyway, so the issue is if levee breaks, we're flooded. If a train derails and there's toxic chemicals, we have an issue.
Yeah.
So now we got to evacuate. And the same thing with Highway 50. If a truck tips over and they have chemicals that are spread through, the wind blows from south to north. So then it covers our campus. So, and our campus is kind of set in a bowl. So it's going to capture all those
All the
toxic
different
fumes.
things, yeah.
So what do we do? And as businesses, how do we do? The nice thing about, I hate to say this about the pandemic, but the nice thing about it is it taught us how to be resilient because a lot of people had to go and work from home. So a lot of people bought laptops, but there's things that we didn't capture during that time period. What were the kinks that we had?
Yeah.
And business continuity would help.
It takes a lot of imagination to think through all the possibilities.
Exactly.
Well, the last thing I want to ask you, and then we've got Dr. Gaede over here, she's
Okay.
on deck, is you recently took on Build in addition to, you've been on Ready
Yes.
Classic for a while.
Yes.
So talk about why you made that decision and some of the things that you're looking forward to doing.
Sure. So one of the things that I do, besides our business continuity with Ready, and we went into the new platform. So we're moving that, migrating over that. But Build, we do custom forms and we use a different company to do it. And so some of our forms, we wanted to do workflow. And the problem with the company we're using, they don't have built-in workflow. And we found that Built did, and the workflow plan looks really well.
So workflow because you needed approvals and notifications.
Exactly. And we had like an injury accident report. So if someone trips or falls, or if there was a car accident, or if there was a sports injury, those go to 4 different people. And so to do like if conditional logic, if it's a sports person, then it needs to go to the sports director for approval or whatever they need to do. So we couldn't do that in the forms that we have. So everyone got it.
Yeah.
No matter what it was.
So you're setting that up now. What's your experience been so far using the Build?
I think putting the forms together is really easy. It's just drag and drop. And then you have sections, and the conditional logic is really easy to work with.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten too far. Unfortunately, we have so many things going on campus that it's just taken a lot of my time and I put most of my focus on transferring everything over to Ready.
It's a challenge. And certainly anybody who works in business continuity wears a lot of hats. It's
kind
of universal truth that I've been noticing. Well, Don, thanks for taking a few minutes.
My pleasure. It's great to
say hi
talk
to
with you.
everybody.
Greeting.
We'll catch up probably next year. We'll see you.
Oh, hopefully before that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see you around the halls.
Well, I mean, we're neighbors like we said.
Well, yeah, there we go.
Stop by. Yeah. All right. So next up is Mike O'Connor from Southern New Hampshire. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Hi.
All right.
Howdy. Happy Monday.
Yeah. It's all kind of a blur, you
Yeah.
know, when you travel for work on a weekend. Well,
Yeah.
we're excited to have you here for our webcast today. We've got a lot of potential customers, future customers, as well as a lot of existing customers. So just wanted to try and share with everybody what the experience at Kuali Days was all
Yep.
about. This isn't your first year being at Kuali
No.
Days, but we didn't see you last year.
Yeah.
Somebody had a baby, from what I understand.
Yeah. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Maybe more busy.
Well, you could have brought the baby out here.
Yeah. And I have my oldest son with me here today too.
Nice.
Exhausted in the hotel room.
So what is it about Kuali Days that keeps you coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the community really that makes this conference specifically fun. I've gone to AACRO, we've gone to Illusion Live, and all these other places, which is great. You learn a lot, but I mean, it's definitely a different vibe here. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of these guys since 2020, I think, which is the last one I actually attended because of COVID and everything. But I mean, it's just like yesterday. So
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
Well, so Joel made a lot of announcements this morning. I mean, we've had new product announcements. We've had, we've got a new integration tool that we're launching. Have any of those jumped out as interesting to you?
It's hard not to say they're not all just really cool. But the AI stuff specifically, and I've talked to Joel about this over the last year too, is fascinating to me, and I think it's super helpful. I think anything that can make faculty's lives easier on the curriculum management side is welcome.
So talk to me more about that, because when I talk to Joel and Tadd, they're thinking such big picture that it's hard for me to get the use cases out of them. So do you have some ideas like how your end users and your folks on campus might use AI as a component of Kuali?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, one thing Joel showed was summarization of proposals, which is terrific. So being able to capture all the things that are changing in a much more digestible size is, I think, super helpful, because realistically, a lot of the time, these people just feel like they don't have time to look at all of these. Curriculum management forms aren't typically the shortest forms or the most simple forms. So I think the easier you can make it that they can go in and see it, the better. And I mean, academic governance typically spans from department chairs all the way up to provost level or higher sometimes. So it's a wide range of people seeing this and reviewing it and looking for different things. And I think the higher you go, the less information they want. So it's nice that you can kind of tailor it that way through the use of AI as well and simplify things.
Kind of filter it down so they're only seeing the bits that they need to see. You're capturing all the information on the back end. But in terms of what's presented to each individual person, really kind of vary and depend on their specific role.
100%. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, if we've ever been to the doctor's office, we all have. There's that whole section that's like office use only, right? So the ability to hide and show stuff like that. So you've been a long time Kuali customer, going back
Yeah.
a number of years. You're using classic CM,
Yep.
what we used to call student. Well, we still call
Yeah.
student, right?
In our hearts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also understand you guys have been in the next generation version
Yep.
of academic ops for a while in the sandbox environment.
Yep.
I'm curious about like what your early impressions are,
Yeah.
what you think, and what you're looking
Yeah.
forward to.
Yeah, so we've been with Classic CM since 2015 or 16. I started at SNHU at 2016, so we've been in there for a while now. So we've been in next gen now for about the last year, a little over. So I've had time to test out a whole wide range of stuff, and since I've been in there, many features have been released that weren't there when we started. So like the progress has been amazing just on its own, how many things have been added. But I think the coolest thing, if I had to pick one thing, I mean, I can think of many things, but the associations feature that they're cooking up right now, which replaces dependencies. We heavily use connections at SNHU to make sure we're tracking dependencies and relationships.
Well, this is all right. This might be a little technical for people who don't like haven't used it before. So what do you mean by connection?
So if I want to change a course, for example, I need to know what that's going to impact. So if it's a program requirement, or if it's nested in Gen Ed, or if it's a prerequisite for another course,
Gotcha.
these features tell you that up front, so you can make the decisions based on that. But I think this associations feature they're working on kind of turns that up a bit more, because you can now see a much wider range, including if you're a build customer, if you have other forms and build that could tie into curriculum. An easy one to think about is programmatic accreditations. If you have a form for that, you can track all the programs that have specific programmatic accreditations, see that in your curriculum management product on the program page. So again, it's more transparency for when you're making decisions and proposing changes or not proposing changes because of these as well.
All right.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Any parting thoughts for our folks who might be thinking about coming out next year?
Definitely worth it. I hear karaoke is the most fun thing ever. I will go, but maybe not be on the stage.
No cameras in the karaoke room, right?
Yeah.
So what stays in the karaoke bar or happens in the karaoke bar stays in the karaoke bar. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mike. I
Sweet.
appreciate you taking some time.
You
It's
too.
great to chat with you. All right. Finally, our last visitor and guest with us today, Dr. Rhonda Gaede from the University of Alabama. And I'm excited to have you. It seems like we keep bumping into each other. I just saw you in Seattle.
I'm stalking you.
Yeah, well, or the other way around. And I've already got you pinned. You're going to be on one of my future webinars. She had a great session this morning. You were paired up with University of Maryland, Baltimore, if I got that right. Janet?
Yes.
Janet Simons?
Yes.
It's coming back to me. And you guys, I mean, one of the comments I made to you, and I made this to Mike as well, is it seemed like I always know it's a good session when I just see people start nodding. Like, and there was a lot of nodding in your session. So talk a little bit about what you shared in that session and why you think folks might have thought it was interesting.
Well, so it's a session about Kuali Build, and our approach to it has been to really bring it across the campus. And so we are using it in a number of ways. It did start in research, and in our research office, as Baltimore did, they started with really complicated apps that they knew would make a lot of difference. We didn't do that in academic affairs. We started with some simple apps that we knew we just had a lot of volume on. So like a grade change form. This is something that people have to do all the time. A colleague of mine said, it was done in 5 minutes. She said, I thought it was just my notification, but no, the whole form was done in 5 minutes. And from emailing things around, that was really kind of surprising. And so I talked about how I've been just talking about Kuali in every forum I could think of, because I think there's no limit but your imagination to what you can do with Kuali builds.
Yeah. Whenever I hear that, I think of University of Hawaii across their entire system. I think over the course of 3 years, they developed thousands.
Wow.
Just they have an app for everything. It's kind of like they're automatic, oh, we can build an app for that. So whenever you think about creating another Word document or a PDF or another endless email chain, that's where Bill can come in handy. So you've been a longtime Kuali customer, right? For a number of years now.
4 years?
Well, so from my point of view, that's ancient history. That's a long time.
Oh, okay.
And so you've been sort of a part of this journey as we've made the transition from our classic products to next generation. I'm curious what your impression of kind of the future, or maybe some of the announcements that Joel shared this morning, kind of the direction that Kuali is going.
I'm very excited about it. Some of the stuff with scheduling and academic ops, I wish I had known about before I made another decision that we made at the institution. But having all of the apps brought together under a single URL and a single look and feel, it's easy, but it's even easier when we're bringing things together.
Gotcha. Great. Great. Okay. Well, people are we're getting ready to start the next session. Do you have any more sessions lined up that you're looking forward to?
Yes, but I don't have the details of them on the
Okay.
tip of my cap.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Great. Well, I just wanted everybody to have a chance to meet you and see you in person. You're kind of a legend around Kuali, so I was happy to have you jump in and share. Thanks for joining us.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Rhonda. All right, and I think that is the last person. I'm looking at Kate. I think that's the last person that I'm going to torture for today. And then we've already gone over time. For those who stuck around, 326 of you. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today. And we really hope you all can come out and join us next year. It's a lot of fun. Karaoke's fun. Getting to meet everybody, become a member of this Kuali family is just the best. So thanks, everyone. I will, as promised, send a link to this recording. So if you want to share it with your colleagues, you're more than welcome to do that. This is Paul signing out. You all have a great rest of your day. All right, take care. Bye.